come wine with me. Today, we are going to wine about, I am going to wine about who's more toxic, Chris or Johnny, from Married at First Sight, season 13. Is that correct? Season 13. So in the other review, and I just thought, who's more toxic? Because I honestly, when I saw Chris, now there was a guy from a previous season, and I don't remember his name. He was a tall basketball player, white guy. He was pretty toxic too, but his was different. I mean, he just wasn't there. So to me, he was gross and all, but he at least, he just wasn't there. So it was kind of hard to say too much about him, because it was clear that he pretty much had removed himself from the process. And apparently, I guess he had somebody coming into the show, and so he was just using the show for exposure. I'm not sure about that. Anyhow, who's more toxic, Chris or Johnny? So last season, I really, kudos to production, because, and not to the experts, because Chris was a piece of work, okay? A complete piece of work. And my intention in this wine session is not to review or go over all the horrible things he did. It's really to talk through which one is more toxic, because I don't really know, honestly. I can't decide between Chris and Johnny who's the most toxic. I did not think that anyone could top Chris. I mean, there was even a baby mama scare. or a, I shouldn't say baby mama scare, there was an outside baby scare, potential outside baby scare. I shouldn't say scare either. Oh well, I already said it. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. So anyway, where I will begin is trying to parse out. So the thing is, part of me is saying that Johnny is more toxic, even though Chris had the most outrageous behavior in the situation. So who's more toxic, Chris or Johnny? And I'm going to want your opinions as well. So throw them in the comments below. I want to know how you feel, if you agree or disagree with me, or if you have more to add. I'm sure you'll come across things or recall things that I perhaps do not recall or have not spoken about in this wine session. So their temperament. They both are man babies. I think that something that I noticed with Chris is that, when he didn't get his way, he would just make everything about him and just kind of go off on everyone. And the other participants in the process as well. He was just very, very immature. Johnny, he seemed, for all intents and purposes, to be really cool. You see him in group settings, and he just kind of seems like a normal person, a normal guy. I don't think one might be able to, listen to his complaints and even sympathize with him to some degree. But I think some people were questioning when he went to his family place without her. That was a question in some people's minds. But I don't think it was enough for a lot of people to be like, he's showing major issues here. I think for all intents and purposes, he seemed from the outside to be pretty normal, and to be, I don't think it's abnormal to struggle with a process like Married at First Sight. sight. So I don't think he gave off any like red flags to others so much. But definitely within his marriage with Val, he displayed a lot of temper tantrums. Chris did as well. But Johnny, within the marriage, like Val would try to address something very calmly. She and Paige were similar in that manner, where they're both very mature. They were both dedicated to the process. They were both, successful women, seemingly, both independent, successful women. But, when you say independent women, so for some people that has a negative connotation. But here is like, these women were making so much effort in this relationship and giving so much, and not getting anything in return reciprocated. So they both were really like making an effort in these relationships. And Val, she very calmly tried to express herself, and Johnny would blow up and make it so that everything was like all about him and what he felt and what he thought, and she would acquiesce sometimes. And I thought I could appreciate the maturity in her, in that, because she was making an effort, but at the same time I was also like, girl, you're giving too much, like he's the type that, you give an inch and he will take a mile or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and he did. So he always seemed to, he never seemed to have an ear toward what she felt, or be willing to like adjust for her. And the only time you really saw him seem like he was when he was with the experts. And I don't know, it's just, yeah, I felt like they both really displayed immature behaviors. The difference was that everybody could see Chris's maturity. Chris was like that with him, whereas Johnny wasn't. He seemed to only display those behaviors with Val, which I think is probably what's going to tip it over for me. That's what probably making me feel like he's more toxic. It's because he's that person where you go to someone and say, listen, this is how you treat me, no one will believe you. Because they're like, that guy, he's cool. That guy? No. Whereas Chris, everybody could see his toxicity on full display. You could see his nasty attitude, his lack of character, judgment, his poor judgment. I mean, it's just all his flaws were just out there for everybody to see. But Johnny, I don't think one would necessarily deduce those things without having been able to see them on TV in this process. So yeah, the most outrageous behavior. Honestly, like Chris just, I don't even want to go down the list. Like everything about this man was outrageous. Like they, on the very first night that they got married, consummated their marriage. And then next day, this man just called her ugly, basically. Like, oh, I ain't attracted to her. I mean, dang, man. Who cares whether you're attracted? You decided to go into this process. If you go into a married at first sight process, I mean, why are you expecting to get someone who you would choose yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you even? I feel like if you are putting something like that in other people's hands, you should expect some disappointment when it comes to the looks department, because you've already determined that, listen, most people, I think, not all, but like, a lot of people, when they're looking at looking to partner with someone, or looking to have a boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband, one of the first things is, am I attracted to them? That's the first thing that like even gets the eyes to like go to that direction, and then you determine compatibility from there. In a process such as married at first sight, you should expect that not to be really attraction not to be like a number one thing that you're going to get, because you have put that in someone else's hands. And what else you put in someone else's hands is something that they might be better at determining than you, because you're more likely to focus on attraction. And that is shared values, personality traits that might be able to mesh well together, family dynamic, taking those things into consideration. So when people like go into this process and then you hear them talking about the whole attraction and blah, blah, blah. Sure, you don't want to be paired with a mud duck. You don't want to be paired with, Godzilla's little cousin. But that's not what we're talking here. We're not talking about that. Like, if this woman was attractive, if Paige was attractive enough for him to decide to consummate the marriage, sir, I don't need to get $5 from you. Shut up. You shouldn't have done that if you weren't attracted to her in the first place. You should have seen if there were other things that, if you could grow that attraction, because you can, I think, grow attraction in other ways besides just by doing the do. I don't know if YouTube likes to ding people when you say the SEX, but I just feel like that was really dirty. But he started out that way, right? He started out being a jerk. And I think for me, the fact that everything with Chris was so on full display is what puts him at like under Johnny, like at number 2, because Paige, God bless that woman, but I mean, there were a lot of things that happened in their relationship that she just kept getting them knocks. It just kept like making that effort, like, listen, I committed to this process, I'm gonna keep trying, and like, God bless her. But with Johnny, I feel like those negative traits of his did not show up until, towards the middle, or towards the middle end of their he and Val's relationship, where he started to kind of show those negative traits of his, and they started to show up. So, he kind of, put on a good front. It's one of those people, I guess, that could hide stuff for a little while before it starts to peek out. Like, is it safe yet? Is it safe for me to come out yet? So yeah, I think that's part of what for me, like, yes, Chris started out basically calling this woman ugly. He started before he even slept with her, I think if I'm not misremembering, I think after they got married, he said something off color to her friends, like, she's not like the normal, type that I go for, or something like that. Yeah, he started basically calling this woman ugly, or just focusing on his non-attraction to her before they even consummated the marriage, like at the wedding day. So that was his focus. So to me, he showed up as trash off top. Like, that's not something you say to. You all go, review it. If I find a clip of it, I might, put it in. But I also might not, because I'm lazy. But yeah, and he said that to her friends. Dude, really? You just got married. This is the time when you're supposed to be trying to make a good impression. You didn't follow. So yeah, I felt like, Chris's most outrageous behaviors were like pretty much all of them. I mean, this man could. He started out just zinging, just like trash, just blowing trash out of his mouth. So and then he would disappear. he wouldn't want to. I don't even think he ever moved in with her. He was just. He was just not even really participating in the process, honestly. Yeah, because I don't think he ever moved in with her. With Paige. So I think for me, part of what, yeah, Chris was definitely trash, but I think there was a large part of me that was like, Paige, I appreciate that you're making this valiant effort, girl. Writing's on the wall, like. Kick your heels up and just chill and ride this out and just say no at the end, because I think what happens is I think they might be maybe in their contracts they might, if they don't finish out the process, maybe they have to pay a fine. I don't know if that's true or not. I think I read that somewhere. And if that's true, that's the only reason I would say, to just continue the process, but fully knowing that, like, you're not going to really truly be giving your all. You're not still going to be sleeping with this man. And you're not going to just, you're going to be working on, like, preserving your, self-respect. And just, get to the end and say no. And toward the end of the process, I think it was even hard for her to say no toward the end of the process. Girl, that tripped me out. I would have, as soon as I sat down, is it time yet? No? Is it time? No! Oh, it's not time yet? Oh, I gotta wait? Okay. Like, I would not be able to wait to say, I want a divorce. No, I do not want to be married anymore. No. Please, divorce. Pretty please. May I get my divorce, please? But the girl was waffling even at the end come decision day, and I was looking at her like, how much more do you need? How much more information do you need to separate yourself from this fool? So yeah, that is why. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Johnny, because Johnny as being more toxic, because I think his toxicity or his degree of difficulty or his true unready. Oh, that's not a word. Unready is not a word. But he was not ready for this process. He is not, unless he's had some therapy since, he's not ready to be married. I don't think to anyone. To anyone. Maybe he can marry himself. But he's not ready to be married to anyone. And same with Chris. Again, based on what I saw, I don't know if he's gone through therapy since. I don't know where he is in his journey at this particular point in time, but based on what I saw, neither of these men should be married to anybody. They need extensive therapy. But I'm giving the award for toxicity for the most toxic partner, spouse of 90 Day Fiancé. Ooh. No, I'm gonna have to say man, because if we give it on the women's side, I might have to think on it for the women. Because, there was one from 2 seasons back. I can't think of her name. Well, anyhow, I'm keeping it between Chris and Johnny. And I think the most toxic between those two goes to Johnny. Because the danger factor for him was more insidious. It was, you would have had to have been in that relationship to see it, to experience it, and the only reason that we did was because the cameras were there and rolling. Otherwise, I think if it was a situation where, these two were married and no one was able to see the inner workings of it, just abusive. But and listen, when we say abusive, I think sometimes people feel like, oh, well, abuse really should only be about hitting. No. that's the things that are said with the purpose of constantly undercutting and diminishing someone, gaslighting and doing that, that is abusive, because it's trying to psychologically degrade someone. Yes, you can physically harm someone, but you could also psychologically harm someone. And when the intention is that, that's when you gotta look out. That's when you gotta look out, and all, all the flags should be flying, because, thrown, whatever, all the red flags, green, yellow flags, whatever, should be thrown, because that's when you've got a situation on your hands that could get really ugly and even could potentially lead to something physical, which, we don't want that. But yeah, I think it goes to Johnny for that reason, because Chris's trash behavior was all over. I mean, he smeared his trash everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Other cast members could get it. Production, here's an empty can. Like, production could get some of his trash. Like, listen, do you need a rotten banana peel? He got one for you, okay? Like, everybody could see it. It was obvious. Paige could see it. She chose to ignore it or let her higher morals and character think that she could pray him out of the situation. That's another trash thing about Chris, okay? Supposedly he's a church boy. It's always him. Always the name doing right. But anyway, yeah, that was another thing. So, you thought they had these shared values, but only one of them really had valued that religion, okay? Because she thought she could pray it away, and she said something like, she made a big deal about how he said that, I want my wife to pray over me, which, that was manipulation, right? That was manipulative. But again, it was everybody can see it, so that's the only reason why, Chris is gonna get not a pass, but like he's not gonna get top billing here in this particular discussion, because there was no hiding it. And so Paige was at some point just choosing to be not a battering ram. She was choosing to take them knocks and take them licks, and girl. But with Johnny, I think that Val was really hopeful, and especially when he chose to go speak to her best friend, like, that's another tactic, right? Because that's like isolating. You're isolating the victim because you're getting people from her team onto yours. That was really insidious too. That was really nasty. And I can't help but think it was purposeful. Like, of all people, you have friends you can talk to, but you chose to go to her best friend to talk about her and your marriage. No, that was dirty. And that's that underhanded stuff that, like, makes, I think, Johnny a lot more dangerous, because if we didn't have eyes on him, if you didn't have these cameras, he will be able to talk himself out of these situations, I think, and make it seem like, I know Sarah, and I just, just came out and it's regular talking or whatever. He could have cleaned it up for folks to kind of mitigate the situation. But yeah, I think that that's what's making Johnny over the top for me, is that he wasn't so, all of his behaviors weren't so over the top that, sometimes when you feel like you're experiencing something and no one else is seeing it, it's easy to dismiss it. and say, oh, maybe I'm just tripping, or maybe I'm just being overly sensitive. That was not the case in Paige's case. I feel everyone's looking, even the experts were looking at Paige like, girl, get out. And here with Val, I think the experts were able to see. I think the experts saw that side of Johnny, but I'm saying I don't think other people would have. People who didn't have certain types of training. I don't think other people outside of the process would have pointed at Johnny as being the foul one in the situation. And that's not to say that if things aren't working out, there has to be a problem child, or one person is foul, or one person is terrible, or anything like that. Things can just not work out for whatever reason. But I'm talking these particular behaviors of Johnny's, where he was just purposely malicious. He would say nasty, mean things. That is not how you behave in a relationship. In a relationship, you're supposed to care about the other person. Even in conflict, you can still care about another person. Even in conflict, you can still not want to diminish and demean the person that you're talking to. I mean, and I think this is true in any relationship. If you have a good friend that you have an issue with, talk it out. If you have a family member that you have an issue with, talk it out. If you have a child or a parent that you have an issue with, talk it out. But when you say things that are intended to make them insecure, or are intended to be disrespectful, are intended to make them second guess themselves, that's a problem. And that's saying something bad about that person's character. And that's what I saw with Johnny. His character was very lacking. So yeah, that's the side I'm going. that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Johnny. I'm going with Johnny as being the most toxic. More toxic than Chris, which I did not think would be possible. Congratulations again to production, because look, it makes for great TV. It sucks that Val had to go through this, and I do not ever wish that on anyone. I don't wish that on anyone ever. But got eyeballs on the screen, right? So that is my take. What is yours? What did you think? Do you think someone else should be in the running? If so, let me know your thoughts below. And like I said, between Johnny and Chris, if you disagree, if you think Chris is more toxic, let me know. If you agree with me and think Johnny's more toxic, let me know. Hey, give examples. And if I've missed anything, any of the plethora of things that went on through season 12, which is Chris's season, or season 13, Johnny's season, feel free to remind me below. Thanks for stopping by. Ciao.